and welcome to tonight's episode of our Skeptic Bible Study. The good, the bad, and the unleavened bread.
Back to that unleavened bread again.
Look, if you have something on it, okay. But if you are just eating matzah and water and matzah.
Can I get you some plain saltine crackers, maybe some plain white rice also to go with
exactly. that? The flavor is bursting. But yes, Lord, tonight, God commands the Israelites to give to the poor, but also goes over slavery and rules for sacrificing animals. And, we at least get to finish on another feast of non-rising bread. So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman.
Don't let us catch you eating leavened bread or else.
Look, if you eat that leavened bread, I know where the rocks are going to be thrown.
That's that biblical objective morality. At least we have that to turn to.
Exactly. That's what I like about the good book, is that it just stands the test of time. Thousands of years later, we know that slavery is bad, but that's okay. I mean, come on. How objective is objective, really?
But we don't really have anything to base our morality on. It's just.
Well, exactly. It's just, if we don't have the Bible, why are we going around and just stabbing people?
Yeah. Or the Quran.
Or the Quran, of course. Yeah. Another fantastic book of science.
Blind unicorn.
And, oh, my lordy.
Conversations with ants.
I have yet to really have a serious discussion about the ants conversation. Like,
I imagine they avoid that like the plague.
Yeah. They like to have intellectual conversations about deism, which, is fantastic, even though the contingency arguments are not good. But they don't want to defend miracles. Talking ants, that's a Pixar movie. Come on, James. That makes much more sense when you have a guy coming back from the dead 3 days later. No, that also makes a lot of sense. Yes. But James, why would you want to be rational?
Like a God who's one, but he's also three, but he still is also just one, but he really, really is three, but he's also just one. You understand? He's three and he's one. He's neither. He's both at the same time.
It makes sense. You just need to say, Father, Father, and get on your knees. Also, God is a gender, but don't look into that either. Oh. But yes, what is up, everyone out there on the intertubes? Thank you for joining us for tonight. We hope if you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. Woohoo! Because then you gain access to that bell icon, which when set to all will give you reminders to see our premieres or join our live streams. What is up, interwebs?
Hey guys.
And all right, we will
Speaking of resurrections.
That's right. Speaking of resurrections, he has a 1 billion-year contract. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought he was dead. No, he is here working with us day and night to help reveal why the Bible is a little bit silly. We're going to have to hand it over to you, Gilbert.
Your Lord and Savior.
To read.
Some of you may be new to this abomination of a study. These schmucks begin by reading each episode's chapters along with the annotations on the side for funsies. The hosts are a tiny bit special, so don't mind if they butcher or replace everybody's name with something completely horrible or stupid. However, the gibberish that spews forth from their face holes will still be an attempt at reading this book from cover to cover, which I'm sure has tons of wisdom or an insight on whether we can or cannot put things up our butt. If you have time to waste screaming internet memes at random strangers, then join the Discord. Or scream at them personally at your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch streams. Finally, don't forget to support these idiots doing more lame shenanigans at Amy Newman's Patreon page. All right, schmucks, back to you.
Thanks, Gilbert.
Thanks, Gilbert. That's right. You can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/Amy Newman, which helps us make even more fun content, including awesome Patreons like us from the Atheist Roundtable and the Atheist Network Group.
Thanks, Oz.
And not only that, but we just ran our fantastic Tang Gang monthly LGBTQ plus talk-in show on Tang. You should go watch that right now or after, or you can't before, because that's actually how time works. But we're sending love to youtube.com/the Atheist Network Group. And, you know, I was listening to Oz after stream, and I think I'm going to be going to better. I think that at least I'm going to make a considerable effort. Because I really want to go to as many just types of conventions that support our community as possible. What is up, Jenna?
Yeah, speaking of Tang Gang.
Hashtag Tang Gang. That's right. Go watch Jenna not only be a fantastic host on many episodes herself, but I can't send all the love for basically producing and connecting atheists out there with Oz and the rest of the Tang Gang. Because
you're gonna try to go to better.
We just don't have to schism, have holy wars. We can be. What's funny, even though many of us are cats, and it's hard to hurt us, a lot of us have universally similar humanistic, naturalistic. It's amazing all the baggage that just falls away when you get rid of religion. Shane
I might go next year. Now that we're monetized next year.
Hells yeah! Maybe we can start. Not only creating funds,
it's a lot further for me.
I
down
have
in Florida.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I was lucky enough to even be able to get to DebateCon, and I'm going to really put in the effort to go to better. But I think that they're events that I think are in our future, but we have a lot of climbing. I would say that 3K to 5K we're looking at. So I would like to bring in, and definitely by our 10K mark, I want to have basically a skeptic and ranting community convention type of thing. I think that these type of events, these type of community actions are one of the only good things that religion has going for it is that you can almost, I think it's Matt Dillahunty who said this, but if you're a Baptist, you could basically pick up and go to any town in America and find a quasi family, even though you've never met anyone. And I've only felt that with two groups. And that is comedians who I've heard. Is it Dave Attell, I believe, has said that it doesn't matter where he goes, he's always felt just like a bond. And with the skeptic, non-believing, science-based, atheist community.
You get some sort of like that with the sports community too. There are different pockets of teams.
And you know what's funny? I'll say about sports. I say to me, sports is the only acceptable form of tribalism. The only form. After that, but okay.
But it's usually all good fun. But that's exactly the flaw of religion. That's the flaw of religion, is that it's so fiercely tribalistic. You can find a cult in your local town that will mostly agree with you on a few things. You'll probably still have your differences with them, but you'll agree on hopefully enough that they'll accept you into their community.
You'll still be able to go to the church karaoke night, generally speaking.
Potluck.
Yes, exactly. And those are important functions of human society. And I think
deliver your young children to the Catholic priest for whatever type of horrible things that are in store for them.
Exactly. I forget I'll say a charitable quote, but it was like, give me the child, I'll give you the man. I forget which priest or pastor used to say, but yeah, speaking of indoctrination, and that's when they're not being passed around like SeaWorld whales. But that's a Bill Burr joke. TM.
Like when they kill a trainer, they got to move it to another park. Yeah.
Yes, very quietly. They don't get rid of the whale. You just got to move it to another SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that could apply to any religious organization at all.
Oh no, absolutely not.
None. Once again, I just can't help it. Just go look at that Bill Burr clip with him on that yellow couch behind him.
I mean, the Pope is making more trades than like a basketball general manager. He is swapping his people all over the place.
Indeed. Look, when you're up to bat and you're trying to avoid, I imagine, is it the CIA, the FBI? Who defends children? Who knows? Definitely not the religious.
FBI,
anyway,
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security. Man, there's a specific. I almost feel like I have to do a shout out thing podcast because there's like a specific person that keeps on coming to my mind when we're just talking about Catholicism. I know. Yeah. A very smoky channel, a very Dawaistic channel.
Hey, they are brothers from another mother.
Religious people just haven't had good people in Chuck E. Cheese visits. It's just been hard.
But I mean, I don't get it because they have that objective morality. They have that base that we don't have.
Objective. And that is what I like about the Quran, the Gospel, and the Torah, is that it's the Word of God. And it never needs to be changed or edited.
You don't even have to justify it. You just say, well, that's what God said. So if you don't like it, go kick rocks.
Right. No. Yeah. Good book. The good book. Yes, and we've only just, once again, ladies and gentlemen, so much housekeeping.
Yeah.
And sending love,
Thank you, Oz.
sending love to Oz. You should be hashtag checking out Tang, and tickets on sale now. Hashtag better. And also Ludi and Arab. Dun, 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 dun. Sending so much love.
Thank you,
not
Ian.
only
He was in
Ian,
chat.
woohoo! What is up, Ian? But he's reminding us that, well, many of these arguments, when we deal with creationists, well, like a watchmaker, they're actually highly silly, and our organs
They're
and nothing
pretty
about
terrible.
us, looks intelligently designed. Oh, what a PR term.
Well, Shane, it does take a lot of rehearsing for her to get it right, so be generous. Tip your waitress.
Thank you. Sending love, Shane.
Well, you guys think we're just running late. She's getting ready for her performance.
That's right. Well, me and Gavin have a lot of work. He is working tirelessly to keep me happy, and then I just try to bring that back to the audience like you. Isn't that right, Gavin? Yes, it is. Oh, what is up? I see Waiting for the Sun. I could not agree with you more sometimes. Okay, sometimes. I think that we are evangelical, to use it in the lay term, in that we are preaching, almost counter preaching, because we are counter apologists. That is kind of our wheelhouse. Now, we love all sorts of other pseudoscientific beliefs, so it doesn't matter what it is. We're just skeptic. We just want to challenge people. In fact, I think very close to having Merchants of Doubt shirts, hats. Oh my, because that's all we're selling, ladies and gentlemen. Doubt. A little bit of doubt.
Waiting for the sun. You gotta be waiting for him for a long time, because he ain't coming back.
He is waiting for the sun. Oh, I mean, Jesus
Maybe
is dead.
it's a play on words.
I know. Well, either the sun, which will eventually destroy the planet in 4.5 billion years, so we got a little bit of time, or if you're waiting for like the dead rabbi to come back, oh boy, honey,
Yeah, you gotta be waiting for a while. He never came the first time.
He's looking for cigarettes. He went out for milk last January.
Your intelligent designer is wandering Walmart parking lots looking for cigarette butts to smoke the last little puffs off of them. Yeah. That's where your intelligent designer is. He can't be disturbed right now. Sorry, someone has cancer?
A child developed leukemia. Someone developed early diabetes. Well, I did lose my car keys, and arguments like that make a grumpy old cuss go bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah, we just don't understand the divine plan, the perfect plan that he's got. Yeah.
Especially since humans got his plan basically every other day. Like, if you could look at it, humans are one of the biggest villains in the Bible, depending on how you view it. Because I kind of view Yahweh as the biggest villain. But the person who subverts Yahweh the most, not really Satan. It's really us. Coming together almost every time. Or doing something like 10 minutes after he told us to. We're like, is he really real? I mean, he just talked to us physically. Like, there was an audible voice in the burning bush.
He said we shouldn't do this, but remember the last time we did something he said he shouldn't do, and he killed a bunch of people? We'll try it again. What could go wrong?
I know, but there was like a golden calf on sale, and who doesn't love a sale? Sending love to Grumpy and Diana Smith, reminding us how, well, you know, the genders are very equal in the Bible. Just, you know, one of them is more equal than the other. Whew.
It's like a crooked equal sign.
Well, it's just how they always make fun of the non-religious or the humanists or whatever label that you want to say for wanting to have egalitarian views or going super feminist and all this. But it's like you're going out of your way to be biased towards towards men. If we were doing it the other way, you would call it the hypocrisy, but they have to go out of their way to say male slaves, female slaves, male livestock, female livestock.
Well, they were probably getting paid by the word, so. Your shekels?
Gotta get every shekel I can. Especially when I want to buy, my neighbor from the nations around me. Gotta get every shekel.
Peradventure, that self-same day, buy your slaves from the nations around you.
Can I tell you?
Nations around you.
That does imply that at some point there could have been slavery sales, like buy two, get one free. That is both hilarious and horrifying. That is holy.
Discount, like coupons on clay tablets, like 25% off.
I wonder if they'd be biblically sponsored. I imagine so. It's a Jado-Christian, family-valued, oriented store.
It comes with your slave beating rod, so that you automatically have your beating implement on hand. Anytime they look at you the wrong way, you crack them up the head a few times. You'll see if they look at you like that again.
That's right. Won't look at you the same way twice.
They might not be looking at anything, but oh well.
Sun. My name is a Doors song, Waiting for the Sun. It's not a religious meeting. Oh,
Here Comes the Sun.
Gotcha. I love the Doors. It was my dad. It is my dad's favorite band.
I'm thinking it's a play on words, but
mine is when you're a stranger, people are lonely. When you streets are home, when you're down, when you're strange. Actually, Marvel's Strange coming out tomorrow.
Apparently cameos or covers are okay.
Yo, I saw that. Cameos are dead. Can I tell you why I think my lay version of why it two of the biggest names that I knew, and I actually it breaks my heart, but I was going to do Cameo again, and I was going to do it for either another show or as like an ending to when we were finishing our Bible study, and I had a very specific comedian picked out. That comedian was Bob Saget. And so without Bob and without Gilbert, I mean, they were two big pushers for
God needed them more than we did.
Exactly. But I'm lucky to have gotten him for the billion-year contract.
Yeah.
Saget must be in heaven somewhere. But we're glad to have Gilbert. We're lucky
probably
to have,
praising God on his
knees. To have gotten him. No, the best thing about Saget was that even though he had a family-friendly image from his sitcoms, he was a very raunchy comedian.
Yeah.
So,
that kind of shocked a lot of people. It was good for the shock value of it.
Exactly. Well, it probably made his shows even better because here's this guy, talking about Coke or whatever, and you're used to him being like, Tanner. Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, I'm gonna clean the house again for the 5th time today because it's good for the storyline. It's funny. Ha 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 ha. Look, there he goes cleaning.
It's different humor from than maybe like, oh, I fell on my butt to I fell on my butt because the hooker pushed me. It's just slightly adjacent. But and I love Gilbert. Check out Gilbert's Aristocrats. I want to tell my goddess, what the Aristocrats. What I find both funny about the I catch myself in like saying could you tell jokes like that anymore? I don't think you can. I would like to push back against that notion. I feel like that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always good. I just have Lenny Bruce in the back of my head, just fighting adamantly to say what he wanted on stage, getting heckling, talking about the lawyer trepidations as he went into insanity in his own genius way. I just don't think it ever changes. I think there's always a pushback. I think society just has norms. I think that comedians push those norms, and that the give and take is almost part of the art form.
Yeah.
If that even
No.
so I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying that I think it's a natural pressure. Yes, yeah. that has to occur. And jokes release a lot of that pressure. But yes, sending love. We have once again so much housekeeping. Sending so love much. To also Diana Smith.
Thank you, Diana.
Pat Lowinger. Woo-hoo! Thank you, Pat. We have so many fantastic episodes of Talk Skeptic to Me, which you should be checking out. I also we were in pre-production. I should be talking again to get a fantastic new episode of Talk Skeptic out to me, as well as one with Dale. We have one with Dale. I have things that I have been getting set up, and within the next week or so, I am reaching out to both of you guys because we need a lot of amazing non-believer content out there, and we want not only our Patreons and supporters to help us, we then want to give it right back to just our viewers and the community. And so sending love, and go check out Pat and his co-host, the lovely, the fabulous, and wonderful, and hashtag Tangang Biddy Buddha at youtube.com/BiddyBuddha_. Sending so much love, Pat. Go learn some shit. How you doing?
Hey.
But also sending love to, like I said, Dale Pastel. Woohoo! Who is reminding us we are just looking for a little bit of empirical evidence. And we get criticized a lot in this community for having the standard of empirical evidence. How dare, James, isn't it just enough to have a syllogism? Can't you just have an argument? Isn't that enough?
Some philosophizing. Isn't that enough? Yeah.
Some philosophizing. Philosophy is actually very important. Shout out to T-Jump, to J Mike. I think it's almost important as a counter apologetics to understand philosophy. I'm starting to realize that. But nonetheless, if you have an actual theory, and I don't mean just a hypothesis, you have a theory, as in you're trying to make a framework of facts, then please, empirical evidence. And my lordy went on a certain, once again, Daoistic channel and asked them. I asked any of them, have any of you spoken to God? Has he given or at least had words back? Not one. Not a single one. I do not understand. I really don't understand how you could believe something on syllogism, on argument, on, I guess your word is faith. But
emotional reasons.
It does not compute to me. And I'm not shitting on emotions, okay? Don't tell a feminine human being that emotions don't matter. Or men, actually a masculine human being too. They just, our society, unfortunately, need to release some of that pressure. But that deals for personal issues, like who you are as a human being. When we're talking about the natural physical laws, My emotions mean absolutely nothing. Like, my views on the laws of gravity are ... No. It's not how that works.
No.
But
Don't
thank
worry.
you.
We're getting to the study.
I know, I can't help it. It's true. We are a lot, and it's because it's been a few days, so there's a lot
5
of
days.
catching up. This may be a longer housekeeping than normal, so we do apologize. But we love you. We're having a lot of fun. I'm sending love.
Good
I
to be
see
back,
the
yeah.
Freak and Materialist Dan and Serge and Brian Stevens and Shane and Unit 666 and Beamsy. Brian Stevens, I said Brian. We're sending you too. Shout out, Brian. And Wesley and Jenna and all of you out there.
All those badass people. Oh, he's got to go to sleep.
So
We'll come back and watch it tomorrow.
Well, and we love tucking you into bed. We love when you're waking up and grabbing coffee, or if you are just painting and listening to something while you work. We are sending love out there. We are still talking about theological concepts. It's hard not to, because, so much of the world still believes
most pervasive lie or superstition.
The biggest superstition in the world.
Yeah.
Sending love, Dale, and sending love to Dave Gar. Dave Gar reminds us that the Earth is kind of round. I don't know. What do you think, James? Kind of squish?
That's what they say. I mean, I've never seen it.
It's true. Have you ever been to the moon? So how do you even know?
I don't know. I guess we have to take somebody's word for it, right?
Yeah, that was just data given to you. I understand. They call us cynics sometimes, but that kind of logic is the hyper skepticism or whatever word they want to throw in there. How do you never been to the moon? Did you go there? No, the experts did. We also have lots of reasons. You could shine lights. You could point that will bounce back from reflectors that we've put on there. There are objects on there. There are footsteps on there. The astronauts that came back had radiation that was expected from leaving Earth's atmosphere. But besides that, nothing. This is nothing.
15 feet deep.
Which is another thing I get from apologists. Silliness. I don't understand the science. And then you ask them, like, they have the audacity, depending on the type, but definitely young Earth creationists, to challenge evolution. But when you ask any logistics on anything that God does ever, it's just, how are we supposed to know that? Well, I mean, supposedly God created the laws of nature, but we actually have figured out a lot of shit. We know how the planetary cycles. We understand how planets and stars and solar systems form. So why can we understand that? We can't seem to.
Well, you just have to always go to what we don't understand and hide God in there. That's right. And those may shrink over time, but
if it's cold out.
Yeah.
But also sending love to Dave Gar and Scott Duke. Woohoo! Sending love, Scott Duke, who reminds us that the Bible and many Abrahamic traditions look down on other animals. Another thing that you see with the are you telling me that I'm related to a monkey? Are you calling my mom a monkey? No. You're an ape. We have ape-like ancestors, and we are always going to be another thing they don't understand. We're always going to be backboned organisms. We're always going to be mammals. We're always going to be primates, and we're always going to be humans.
That was the thing Sunflower wasn't getting last week, where like the descendants of humans will always be humans. Oh, But don't we share a common ancestor with a plant? So will they be plants? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
If we're Americans, how are there still Europeans? Or anyone else? Because, yeah.
Well, when the spaceship put the nuke in the volcano and all the souls came flooding out, the primary, they went to Europe, and then some came over here.
Different religion.
But, yeah,
Though I guess there are two religions with nukes. There are multiple religions of nukes. Nukes they're the trendy thing. But also sending love to Rejos, reminding us that eventually we are going to Skeptic Bible Study. We have 2 chapters
we'll
tonight.
get there, damn it.
We will. We are climbing
makes
through
us
there.
Take 10 years, like
we
Shane
will
said.
get it. Exactly. Well, I find that funny. And Shane, that is actually a very interesting fact, like that it could take that long.
We're going through it.
And we talked together a little bit pre-show. And so what we're hoping is that as we eventually are able to get more independent, and this we want to run these shows maybe twice, 3 times a week, and
depend on corporate America for our sustenance.
But we're sending love, and we would love to do more of this, and I think it's an important thing, because I have found that, lots of Christian channels specifically will do Bible studies, and the Bible studies tend to be a passage that they have picked that they think will convey a positive message, or I guess a good, scary message like hell, which
for whatever their purpose is.
Yes. And even in a lot of counter ones, you're generally, if you want to attack slavery, you're attacking slavery. You want to attack hell, you're attacking hell. What I've found good about this Bible study is all of the absolute baggage that has come along just slogging through one chapter at a time. Just the nonsense of how redundantly redundant, how just a mixture of absolute carnage and then just sheer nothing. Shelly, I was gonna say boring. Nothing is a good word. Just sheer, like, why are you naming dukes of people that no Christian, no Jew is going to even
we completely lost the history.
Exactly.
Why are you giving us another census? Oh, and Bob was the captain, and he had 3,826. No, 20, because we never have unround numbers.
Exactly. Why I love that. Which is always
So if you were,
there was like 4,732, and they just took 2 guys. They're like, all right, sorry, Bob. Boop.
Yeah, kill him. Oh, 30. There we go.
Sorry, Sarah.
God likes round numbers.
Yeah. But thank you so much, Regis. And sending love to Rachel Holland.
Rachel.
The lovely, fabulous, and fantastic Rachel. Reminding us, once again, that a little bit of... Oh, man. Whole bunch of slavery just got caught in my throat. It sucks, but every time it comes up with the Bible, it just gets lodged right there. And Christians try and make it come up.
Pop it out.
They're always like, oh, no, it was the good slavery. It was the works program.
Like Bob Larson when he's doing an exercise. Come up, demon. Cough it out. Come on out of her. Come on out of her, Satan.
Oh.
You too, Beelzebub. Get out of there.
That sentence was hot. But yes.
Come on,
I need
Satan.
that demon to come out of me as fast as possible. Not today, Satan. Could you do tomorrow? What are weekends like for you?
Bob's got $4,000 exorcism tomorrow. Can we do the day after?
Needs to plan a seed donation firmly up in your, and we're just sending love to also Senator Cato, reminding us that church and state is so very important, because it's probably not going to be your version of theism that is in charge of things, so you might as well just have a neutral system.
Or you just kill all the other people, your rivals, and take over.
Yeah, you could just drown everybody, or just have your chosen group just take swords and solve it, as they would say, diplomatically.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to give you guys some land. There's just one problem. There's already people living in it. Yeah, they're living in it, and I mean, I am omnipotent. I could just ask them to move or tell them to move, but I mean,
or create more land or do something.
Yeah, I could create better land for you guys, but I think it would be way funner for me to watch you kill them all.
And I feel like that will never cause any problems in real life.
It's part of my plan
never
anyway. Don't worry, guys. I got all this shit worked out.
Exactly. Nicked in the butt. I'm just going to make sure everyone dies. The women, the children.
You thought you guys had me fooled with that golden calf. It was all part of my plan anyway.
But sending love, Senator Cato, and sending love to the queen of production herself, to Jenna. Woo! Sending love basically to just Tang Gang, which you should be checking out at youtube.com/The Atheist Network Group. Because I still loved it. I almost had tart in my brain. Little tart, little tang. Doesn't matter which way you like to stir it.
It'll both take you to them.
But sending love out there, once again, #better. And you should be checking out all of these fabulous non-believers. And last, but certainly not least, okay, we may have been a little bit midnight ranting tonight, I will say, but James Wolfe would like to send love and remind us that we do have lots of our open mics, including this one. It'll probably be slightly shorter. We'll see. At some point. But we do want to let you get on and say your minds about what we talked about on this topic. Agree, disagree, a little bit of both. Oh my. Some people I hear the agree to disagree, though some people are wrong. But hey, we'll agree to disagree that we love you. Mwah, mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And all right. Thank you to all of our Patreons, all of the people in chat, our mods, and of course, viewers like you. During our Skeptic Bible Study, we do try to greet everybody on screen, as you've heard us say. However, if you have specific thoughts, questions, or one-liners, will help us find your comment by tagging James W. or myself in chat at Amy Newman. After the chapters are done, like I said, we will be switching into the open mic so you can tell us face-to-face about the wisdom that we just experienced. And hey, if this is your first time in this series, you may be asking, what version of the Bible are we about to read? Why, what a fantastic question. That brings us
get it ready, Gizmo.
To our categories.
Before we begin, I'm going to start by going over the specific Bible we'll be reading, along with some helpful category marks. Categories, you say? Why, yes I do. You see, we're going to be reading from the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, an entire King James Bible lovingly fawned over by a skeptic who decided he would add his own notations. These are little flagpoles of sanity put in use to remind us that, hey, maybe slavery is evil, including categories like absurdity, injustice, and cruelty, but also a good amount of intolerance, contradictions, and conflicts with science or history. That doesn't mean it's not packed full of misogyny, false prophecy, and some questionable biblical family values. Now, we won't skip the good parts that the Bible has, only that these passages seem far fewer in number than any priest or pastor seems to suggest. So without further ado, won't you come join the Skeptic crew?
Speaking Amy's got a debate coming up shortly, don't you?
That is right. In fact, before we break into it, I'll do one last housekeeping.
Yeah, forgot to mention that.
I'll find it and I'll show you.
I don't know how she was able to get on one of the most exclusive channels on YouTube. I only can envy her. But she was able to work it out. I guess she's got a lot more pull than even we knew. But you're on mute.
I will be on Brett Keene's channel
Oof.
in
Oof.
7 days, debating the one and only 15-foot.
Hosted by Brett Keene.
And hey, it's funny. I always say Maltheism is a good position if you're a theist, and I think that's where I've found the shared should I say friendship with Brett. Even though, let me tell you, Hovind. Oh man, do I just want to really pick apart so many of his absolute nonsense.
Brett or Kent?
Well, I could pick apart some of his views only because I think he's getting them from Kent. I mean, so many of them are just how should I say?
His views were crazy before.
Well, and I think accepting an evil God, if you believe in God, is the only thing that makes sense. But if you are going to push just the denial of evolution is really painful to me. Because, and you might say, oh, a creationist might say, painful. Oh, is this your religious? You're having it emotional. It's the attack on what I view is just the backbone of modern biology. It's from that which stems all of the other shit. I'm going to keep on saying hi to everybody. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo, that's right. Even Gizmo agrees. Wilson says, if I were to give you a lecture, you'd be willing to check her out. She's doing a deep dive on Dr. Kent Hovind. Absolutely. I am looking for all of the information out there that is at hand. I think Kent has a specific style, but I also think that he's a slippery one. There's a clip I put on Discord. You can use that if you want it. Ooh, I'll definitely check that out. And okay.
What is the topic? Topic evolution or
my brother? Strange question for James. Do you have a brother or a cousin that is a punk rock guitarist?
No, in fact, I don't. But yeah.
And all right, I think that is quite as much housekeeping as
I can do a pretty good air guitar though.
Bang, da, da, da. And I like karaoke.
AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Yeah. Oops, demonetized.
No, the YouTube gods have actually been very friendly to us.
They have been.
I mean, it's been funny. I don't know what it is. Once again, for all of the, I'm not saying that there isn't some things that you can get canceled for and things like that, but it's just been amazing how we are politically incorrect. We say whatever's on our mind without a filter. We just are trying to
Pretty
tell
much.
it like it is. And yet, since our views are science backed up with facts, reason, and I'm not trying to pat myself or us on the back, maybe a little bit, but no, I mean, I feel like James and I and the skeptic community is just trying to find truth, and we're trying to, if it's not called alternative medicine because it's not medicine, it's not
If it worked, it would just be
metaphysics
medicine.
because it's physics. So, yeah. And all right, I
Reminds
think
me of
we
Jake.
have
Jake the Snake, the Muslim metaphysician.
Jake the Snake. And those guys, I will say once again, I went on, and when he was on that Dawa channel, and I was trying to say that very empathetic used to be the old, and he seemed very tongue twisted. Like I was really pushing hard back on the contingency argument, and I feel like they're just not used to any pushback. They're used to like people just coming across it the first time.
Oh wow! Mind blown.
Mind blown.
I've been an atheist for 15 years, and I never thought about where did the universe come from if there's no God.
How dare you? And some of them really were. They're like, I can't even understand it. And it's like, okay, well, it's okay. That is an argument from incredulity, but. And all right, we could probably rant forever. We are
definitely good,
definitely
but it's
going to get into
plow into the Bible.
The Bible. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So, on the previous episode of our Skeptic Bible Study, kill everyone, but don't eat bacon. Once again. Good. Bad. Good. Bad. No, religion makes sense. It really does. Moses instructed the Israelites to kill dreamers, prophets, your family, and friends, and any city with people who believe in other gods. However, God did remind them that they are his favorite group of people by telling them not to eat pork. In this episode,
Muhammad married a 6-year-old girl, but that's objectively moral. But don't even think about drinking a beer because that would be evil. That would be an abomination. Eating bacon would be an abomination.
Eating beer and bacon, or drinking beer and eating bacon,
or that would blow Muhammad's mind.
And yet that sounds like a good Friday night to me.
Objective morality, people. This is what they have to offer as far as objective morality goes. I'll keep my moral relativism. Thank you very much.
And I'll keep my ethics based on situations. I don't know why you need a God. Gods really just make morality worse in almost every way. I've never heard like I did something good because God.
I mean, people will say that, but
and honestly, you would sound like an a-hole. Like I gave him the sandwich because God told you to. Okay, you didn't do it because he was hungry, because he felt bad. Would have been the right thing to do. No.
Well, I mean, I think they view humans as totally depraved, and that anything good from us can't really come from us. It has to come from God. It's an act of grace that God allows us to do good.
Speaking of which,
That's that Calvinist doctrine of total depravity.
In this episode, the good, the bad, and unleavened bread. Tonight, God commands the Israelites to give to the poor, but also goes over slavery and rules for sacrificing animals. However, it's okay. We finish on another feast of that good matzah. So won't you join us as we jump into the book of Deuteronomy Chapter 15. Oh my. Righty. The sabbatical year with 2 categories right up on there. What is up, Pasta? What is this God you speaketh of? And they get triggered whenever we ask them, which God? That's just an atheist stereotype or a cliche. No, it's actually a valid question. I was hearing that on Randolph's stream the other day. Shout out to youtube.com, Randolph Richardson. In like a month, I'm going to be on those streams. I have to shuffle some things around, but then I'm going to be on there. Bond says, woohoo! Send in love. I also, if you want to know where the inspiration, speaking of dead comedians, be on theme tonight. This is the black and white version of the red and white version of the Norm Macdonald sports hat. He didn't create it. He just bought it randomly, but I found it out from him. So we have 2 categories in this. We have, of course, you have to send your emojis. They are what? Battle. Demons we've learned.
At the GD level.
At the GD level, which is the girl deck level, I believe, right?
Commander.
Exactly. The 15-foot girl deck level. But yes, you have to laugh.
Thanks, Bob. Gotta love Bob Larson.
That's where we should probably put him in the hot seat again soon.
He's due for a trip.
So we're laughing because everyone knows the Bible is so funny, and of course how fair the Bible is. It's known as a very fair book, which we're about to experience, which I imagine is keyword for slavery. But let's get to that.
So fair.
At the end of every 7 years, 7. Oh, that's so funny. A movie comes to mind, and I get the feeling that's where that subject's going. My lordy. Thou shalt make a release if you have permission. And you've been a good girl or boy. And
after
this
7 years.
Yeah, after 7 years. That's a hell of a chastity cage.
That's a hell of a release.
Yeah. Not kink shaming, but whatever. And this is the manner of the release. Oh, my. This is like a erotica cookbook. Every
the Song of Solomon?
Yes, sing the Song of Solomon. Every creditor shall pay with TurboTax that lendeth aught unto his neighbor, and shall release all over them. He shall not exact of it her neighbor or of his sister, because it called the Lord's release, and he wanted to go first, or she.
He always goes first.
I know. Look, of a foreigner, thou mayest. Oh, we're getting Shakespeare. Thou mayest exact it again, but that is which thine brother and sister, thine hand, shall get a release. And if you use your left hand, it will be like a stranger.
Danger.
Stranger danger. No, you're thinking of the apologists that get caught. Save when there shall be no poor among you.
Good old Jimmy Swaggart.
For the Lord Bob. Oh, let me get Lord Bob out. Hold on a second. Oh my.
It's been a while, guys.
It's been a while since I said
been a while since I've heard that song. Here Amy goes, or Nickelback cameo.
Look, listen. I'm going to continue to say that there is nothing wrong with Nickelback. I will.
She's the one Nickelback fangirl in the crowd for their concert.
Look.
She's got the shirts,
It did win me the game. I'm going to get on my knees for 1 second. Oh my, Gavin, how you doing down here? I'm trying to... Well, gosh darn it. I'm just going to go without Bob. Yeah, I'm looking, but I can't find him, so we will go forward. But sensing love out there, she is our goddess, who the Bible speaks to with her noodly appendages. All right, what have we been reading? Moses continues to instruct the Israelites, saying, "Ma-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-doo." Every 7 years, lenders must forgive all of their loans. This is called the Lord's release. Oh my.
That's
the
right,
song
James.
is by Stained. You're getting
been a while.
your terrible early 2000 rock bands mixed up.
Yes, that's right.
It's okay. Still a very good song. And
She's
I
like,
will
we're all
say,
terrible rock bands.
I love 2000 soft rock. I'm just going to put that out there. It was a great time for it.
Like Blink 182 with Joshua Bell's face pasted in the music video.
And I just have somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. It's like peak right there. And all right.
It was like 98, 99. Yeah.
It's a good time. I just have Shrek also in the back of my head now. But who doesn't have Shrek in the back of their head if you think about it?
Yeah. Counting Crows.
Counting Crows, another good one. Consistently still looking for Bob. No, Bob. No.
He's doing an exorcism.
All right. Well, we're going to use my tardigrade then as a stand-in for Bob. Because tardigrades are awesome. They can even be dehydrated and rehydrated, which is
on the moon now.
Exactly. Woohoo! All right. So thank you, Shelley, our tardigrade. So we're looking at creditors and foreigners, and we're having releases everywhere. Save when there shall be no poor among you. Yes, okay. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee all over, which in the land which the Lord, Bob, thy goddess, given thee for an inheritance to possess it.
Funny. They didn't possess it for very long, did they?
No. Well, it's very odd. Also, I posted an image in the community tab, which is like, if you look how long it takes to get from, generally speaking, the capital of Egypt to the capital of Israel.
But that was intentional.
9 hours.
Remember, because he was punishing the elders by making them wander, so they would die, so they wouldn't inherit the promised land. Only the kids would.
Oh, exactly. Moses has a death sentence right now. Our main man, Moses, who is still basically the main character right now. We've gone through a few main characters. I would say this has been the closest I've felt to watching, what is zombie? The Walking Dead. Every once in a while you got to change up who your main character is. It's been Moses for a long time, though. But he has a death sentence, is my point. He is not allowed to enter the promised land.
He's God's going to basically shoot him at the finish line right before he crosses the line.
Which is really weird. You're going to do all this work and then not let him get to the finish line or kill him.
He should have praised me better.
That's right.
He should have loved me and worshipped me more. maybe I would have let him go, but
If he was more like Gavin. Isn't that right? All right. So we're getting blessed. A blessing here, a blessing there. We're hearkening unto the voice of the Lord Bob, thy goddess, to observe to do all these commandments, because that's like his thing. Everyone loves lists, which I command thee this day. For the Lord thy goddess blesseth thee all over. Oh man, all over. As she promised thee. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, just not the ones that you pillage. But thou shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over all of the nations until the Fire Nation attack. But they shall not reign over thee. What? So Moses continues his instructions. He's saying every 7 years, lenders must forgive all their loans. It's called the Lord's release. You may require foreigners to repay you, but not the Israelites. Lend to other nations, but don't borrow from them. Gotcha. Lend money to the poor. Oh, holy moly. James.
Yeah, hey, go figure. Usually we're getting the middle finger up, not the thumb up, but
Wow, I don't know what to say. I think there's something good in the Bible.
yeah, broken clock is right twice a day. There you go.
Indeed.
I mean, it's so big. There's by just
That's what
statistical
she said.
virtue, there's got to be at least a couple things in it that aren't totally bad.
Well, they were humans, so they got some things right, hopefully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But okay, lend money to the poor.
Oh,
cool.
like the check cashing store, payday loans. That's probably more up Yahweh's avenue than community-based block grants.
Venmo?
Yeah. Get these Yahweh payday lenders out of my bank account.
And all right, we're gonna go into lending money to the poor. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren with any of thy gates, open up my gates in thy land cards, which you need to have tapped, which the Lord Bob, thy goddess, giveth thee. I always love how they have to point out, like, I'm your God. Don't you forget, who am I? I'm your Lord, your God.
And where did I get you out of? The land of where?
New York. But yes, Egypt. I took you out of Egypt and I can put your ass back in.
Yeah, well, fine, Yahweh. If you're going to keep throwing that in our face, just take us back to freaking Egypt. I mean,
exactly.
It's like the guy who does you a favor and then they constantly throw that in your face every 5 minutes. It's like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, yeah, maybe we're better off. You did kill the Pharaoh, though, so who knows who took over.
I mean, I bought you a drink at the bar, Amy. What are you going to do for me now? I mean, I bought you that drink.
And the freak says that's the point. Is that the point?
I guess.
I don't know. But I guess let's get to it. We've been waiting. Something actually good. We're sticking our thumb up somewhere. Nor shut thy hand, if you're using the left one, from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, if you get what I mean, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in which he wanteth. Oh my, all needs? But that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, which, by the way, a good play right there on Broadway. Go watch Wicked. Oh, sending so much love out there I see
Oh.
Aaron Colson sending a $2
Thanks, Aaron.
super chat, just dropping in
Appreciate it.
to show support. Keep it up. Sending so much
Everything
love.
helps, guys.
Exactly.
We appreciate it. We
Cannot
appreciate the support.
appreciate it enough. And I just want to say that it doesn't matter how we get revenue, we are putting significant portions of that right back into making even better content. We have already put in the channel badges, which is going to be evolving from trying to remember something like a little beaker, a vial, and going to a beaker and continuing up in scientific instruments all the way to a spaceship. And so we have that as well as emojis. And I couldn't help it. Like there's going to be some good James and Amy emojis, but I could not help myself. There are going to be counter-apologist emojis. Like I am getting sick and tired of hearing, look at the trees. Can't you just look at the trees? I am turning that into an emoji. I am turning...
We need an Oz emoji, like emoji for our Patreons.
Well, I would love to start having not only our Patreons, but I also want to do basically a theistic apologetics tour. Get one of Kent and Bob and
Josh Bell.
All of them. Yeah, just the people who can't take themselves seriously tend to be religious. So I would like to as most as possible.
Gavin Hurleman.
Well, he would be laughing, but
I think his ex-wife is actually doing more laughing than him.
Oh my! Oh, and James was like, "You didn't know about that?" No, I had no idea.
$200,000.
Well, what gave it? Can I tell you what did it to him? Because I read that deposition, and what did it to him was his. And I'm paraphrasing like hardcore, but he was like, well, didn't get my money, so I guess didn't get the girl, so I want my money. Which is like
that wasn't contingent on the
that's
deal.
Not how. Yeah,
you weren't buying her, Gavin. It's not like a purchase contract.
Oh yeah, no, and a Darth icon that would be fantastic. I would like Darth. I would make an Untangelo. I would make a Mr. Batman. Like these people need to be turned into emojis.
Nephilim free.
Nephilim free. So all upcoming, and all thanks to all of you guys out there. Sending love to the amazing, the fantastic, and wonderful Secular Rarity.
Perfect amount there. Thank you, Secular.
Sending a 666 super chat saying, keep the super chats going. Y'all cannot send the love so much right back. And I just want to send love to Secular Rarity, who I have seen on many fantastic non-believer podcasts, including the ones that I've been on. When he was on the we'll say the apologist type of channel, I thought he was graceful. I thought he had great questions without pushing too hard. I almost when I got on, I was like, damn, I'm being so spicy. I can't help myself sometimes, but Secular Rarity sending so much love, such a great human being, and you should be checking out all of their content. And all right, Thanks,
guys.
Yes, thank you so very much to all you guys' support. We're sending that love right back, and we are jumping right back in to Deuteronomy Chapter 15.
We're coming up on one of their favorite verses.
James, no, it's just so good. This has been. I get the feeling that it's going to continue to be good. So I wouldn't, I don't want to do anything, spoilers or anything. Beware, let not be in the wicked heart. The poor shall never cease. Did we read?
I think we were on 10, I think.
10. Thou shalt surely give him. Ooh, give him what, baby? And thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, or pump in and out, because that for this thing the Lord thy God is, right here, Bob, bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hands into, oh my, and reach around for. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore, I command thee, because that's kind of my thing. I make commandments, saying, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother. Ooh, I like Yahweh. Okay. To thy poor. Oh, okay. To thy needy in thy land, specifically other Israelites. But whatever, they're being nice. I won't nitpick for once.
Well, that verse is like one of their favorite verses to refute like ideas of socialism and like government anti-poverty programs, because look, it says there will always be poor. So no, it says right there, the poor shall never cease. So, it's pointless to try to,
Way to go, religious people, for taking the one good thing that you had going, at least in tonight's podcast, and turning it into something evil.
It says to be generous, so they have to rely on private charity, which is,
Well, and oftentimes they'll say you shouldn't give it up to the government. It should be just in the works of charity. And look, I am not trying to say that everything should be controlled by government. I think that private property is an important thing. Nonetheless, oh man, just the fact that you could have a healthcare bill from something that happened in your own job and then you go bankrupt. I mean, just there's certain things in America that need to change that while we keep our capitalist economy. So that is nonsense.
Well,
market economy, whatever you want to call it.
We'll call it capitalist, but it won't be capitalist. It'll be capitalist in name only.
Capitalist in name.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. But which they'll call it. But generally speaking, we found that the hybrid systems are what works best. To go back to my moderation, I can't help it. It is. It's when you go to the extremes of anything that you miss out on the benefits of all the other stuff. Oh God, socialism! We're giving people. Jesus, listen to Jesus. He kind of sounds a little socialisty. Secular Rarity says, thank you so very much.
You threw that out there. I mean, you see, Amy, Jesus was talking about your personal relationships with people, not a government relationship with person. He was, be nice to your brother, take care of him. He didn't mean have set up a welfare state.
Exactly.
I mean, he will give people free bread and fish if he's able to, but otherwise they got to get out and catch that shit themselves.
I always imagine the fish just being like
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. But faster, just like a fish. It'd be funny though if it was just hitting people in the face, like a fish. Anyway, back to what I assume is another moral chapter from the Bible.
Objective morality.
Objective morality. Well, that's weird.
Something we don't have.
I think this says rules for.
I mean, it probably should just be rules for employers, but.
Yeah, rules for employers. It's just that it starts with a severance package. No. I'm sorry. Slave owners. Oh, I got it. Oh, had to get it out. My. Yes, rules for slave owners as we talk about more biblical justice for our first category. Of course, why not just add in violence? We're not having sexy time, so you need to kind of kill people if you're not doing one or the other. The back half, That's what he or she said. Of Deuteronomy Chapter 15, rules for slave owners. And if thy sister is a Hebrew woman or a Hebrew man, be sold unto thee, and you know which order they really put it in because they're triggered, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let her go free from thee. And when thou sendest out for delivery him free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
Amy won't let him go away empty. Amy will. He'll go away with something left inside of him.
There are no sad endings when they leave. That's what you're trying to say. Thou shalt furnish him from Bed Bath and Beyond, liberally out of thy flock. And remember, folks, if you're not a sheep, you don't need a shepherd. And out of thy floor and out of thy winepress. Of that whereth with thy Lord Bob, her noodly appendage or her hardened exoskeleton, that goddess hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto her. And James, our favorite warning, and thou shalt remember that thou was a bondwoman. That I kind of got you into this mess, but whoopsie. A bondwoman in the land of New York, and I can put your back in there.
Oh, please do, Yahweh. Come on. I dare you. Put us back in New York. Bring Andrew Cuomo back even.
Also, this is very true. This is the wisdom. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, religion does no harm unless you are anyone that disagrees with the religion. Or the crazy thing about witch hunter, the people that they burned, it wasn't always even heretics. It was just people they disliked. And so it was just really an easy way to get rid of competition.
I mean, that old hag down the road, you know what she was doing last night? I saw her fly by on a broomstick at 3 a.m. And then she transformed into a cat. And then she hissed at me and ran off. I mean, when you're reading like trial transcripts from back in the day, hundreds of years ago, it's about on that level. Like, remember back then, the rules for divorce were pretty stringent. But if a woman wanted her husband to be dead, well, you know, he's been engaging in sorcery, and he turns into warlock, and you know, he transforms into a wolf at night. He does all these crazy things, and they would say, "Oh, okay, he must be in communion with the devil." And same thing, my wife, she's really a witch. I caught her having sex with Satan in my bed. And they'd say, "Oh, sounds legit. Hang her."
I'd say kinky, but yes, they would hang her.
They would say, "Sounds legit. She was having sex with the devil. Hang her." And then you're free to marry anybody else that you want to marry because your spouse has now been killed. It also worked if somebody owed you a lot, or no, if you owed somebody a lot of money. Well,
picky.
Yeah.
And all right, there's just so much wisdom that we're learning, and we were doing so well, James. They were so happy. We were giving to the poor.
Where's Ralph when we need him?
Oh, I know. Or
I feel like he's about
I
to
would
pop
say
up in the
P-bars,
comments any second.
but I don't think we really need P-bars anytime. So
nah, we'll be fine without him.
Yeah, but it amazes me that there are people that still defend slavery. It truly is. Like, if you, in any shape or form, besides in like a BDSM manner, endorse slavery, you need to reevaluate your views. You need new epistemological tools. You need to open up that toolkit and throw away whatever you're using.
It ain't working for you, right?
It ain't working.
But I mean, that's what happens when you assume the book is perfect and written by a perfect deity. You have to do that logical gymnastics. You have to make it work however you can make it work, because it's got to be true, Amy. It's got to be objectively moral.
Objectively.
It's got to be objectively moral. It can't not be moral.
It is funny that they are the ones that push, because I think it's within the atheistic community, I think it goes 50-50, and I'm even somewhere in the middle on morality. And yet universally, or at least a giant majority of theists are objective morality moralists, and yet I always find it funny because they're just saying it's on this other mind, and minds are subjective. And so it's like you're putting it on this one subjective mind that you says isn't subjective because it's like this perfect omniscient thing.
Oh, well, then you get to you at that point you get to meet the boss, because, well, okay, you disagree with him, but he'll still send you to hell. He's the boss. What are we gonna do?
Whoa.
He makes the rules. Where's your bat, Amy? Get your boss bat.
It's true, James. You know where the complaint department is?
Yeah. Hey, if you want to think his morality is subjective because he's a mind, well, all right. See how that works out for you.
Exactly. In the Old Testament, he will smite you into the ground to where you're ashes. In the New Testament, he'll wait until you're ashes, and then he will torture you over and over forever. Oh, the plans you get to choose for unhealth care.
In other words, he'll kill you and then do mean things to you after you're dead.
Exactly. I'm not really sure which is better, because this dude's a dick. I would not worship. If this dude is real, this guy is the God that is real, I would not worship him. I would oppose him. I would. They don't even have a concept of Satan, so I would have to be the first Satan,
yet.
First rebel.
We haven't came across it yet.
But if it's the New Testament, both heaven and hell sound like torture to me, and I know that Christians would be like, "Oh, heaven sounds like torture to you. What is that? Yeah, have you checked the brochure lately? Do they really go into what they do, or is it kind of vague? Is it a little bit of, oh, that's right. I got Georgie's head in the back of my mind. Listen, if you don't believe in him, he will burn you and torture you and grind and put all sorts of massive pain into your body. But remember, he loves you.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's holding a knife to your throat and a blank check in front of you, and all you have to do is reach out, Amy, and grab that blank check by worshiping him, submitting to him, following his commandments, doing what he says. But if you don't do that, well, not only do you lose the check, but he will not think twice about gutting you, leaving you squealing like a stock pig to drown in your own blood, because you have it coming at that point.
They had it coming. They had it coming. All right. But keep on sending your comments, questions, or one-liners to James W. and myself at Amy Newman. We're almost done this chapter, and I don't think the other one is that long. And so after the chapters, we will be moving into the open mic. And all right, he's doing the warning. All right, a bond man, you were in the land of New York, and
we're in bondage gear.
Oh my, bond man, take me away. And the Lord Bob, thy goddess, she's beautiful, in Egypt, and thy God commanded thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. Good. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he love thee. He's like drawing hearts and X's. And thine house, because he is well with thee. Then thou shalt take in all. Oh my. Oh my. I didn't even notice what chapter
Back
this
to
was.
the praise argument. The all.
This is, driving the stake through the ear. Thrust it through his ear onto the door. And he shall be thy servant forever. Got a little slavery stuck in there.
Now,
And
yeah, I want people to just picture in their mind about this ritual with the all in the doorpost. This is the creator of the universe, and this is what he came up with. Take it all and thrust it through his ear onto the door. That's what he could come up with. The creator of the universe, the
science.
guy who came up with physics, the guy who created everything. And that's part of his perfect plan. All through the ear on a doorpost. Thank you, God. Such wisdom, Amy.
Such wisdom. Honestly, I don't know how this could have been created except for an all-seeing, all-knowing creator of the universe. And all right. We had to get male servants, and now we can talk about maid servants. Once again, got to have that order correct. It shall not seem hard, oh my, unto thee, unless you put all 5 fingers around it. What were we talking about? Then thou sendest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double, 2 scoops, hired servant to thee, in serving thee 6 years. And the Lord Bob, thy goddess, shall bless thee in all that thou doest.
Oh, he will. Oh, thanks. That's such a relief. Okay. Whew. We got that. He's going to bless me and all. Okay. All right.
Bless me, God. Bless me. Bless all over me. Well, okay. We got through that. Honestly, it's 1 for 2. Okay? We're even. There was something good. There was something bad. Are we done? We done? Oh. Rules for sacrificing firstborn males. I tongue twisted myself. Exactly. That slavery keeps on getting stuck in my throat.
Because once again, it's important to the creator of the universe that we ritually kill animals and burn their corpses for him. He likes it. And it's very important that his people do this. Again, the guy who created the universe, created the stars, wrote the laws of physics, he will only be able to forgive us if we kill animals and burn their corpses for his glory. Yeah.
And all right, we got 2 categories, wrapping up chapter 15 of Deuteronomy. It's funny as I say the chapter, another good thing that I would like one day, because I am categorizing all of the episodes. So if you were to go in the previous episode, you should be able to see each chapter as well as the timestamps. What I would like, as this becomes a Bible study, I'm hoping a non-believer or a believer, if they want to also have a different point of view on it, if they're having an argument, are really interested in a certain passage in the Bible, will have covered it. And they'll be able to go, well, I want to see Exodus. And so they go and they're able to boop.
Oh,
and
yeah. I want to see that part in Exodus where it talked about how to sell your kids into slavery. Because that's objectively moral.
Objectively moral. And so it'll be like, just like I think R and Ra's Quran studies have been a tool for non-believers. I hope that this becomes the same thing. I can hear a very flowery person in the back of our head. What do you mean? You really trying to do good? But we love you, flowery person, and we really are. Even though we're comedians, we're trying to do the funny. We're trying to
I,
make jokes.
I mean, sometimes it almost seems like he concedes it's probably all BS, but he just thinks it's better if we just follow it anyway.
And can I also say that, and I'm not sure, I am paraphrasing someone else, but
Yeah.
Comedy and common sense are the same thing at different speeds. Comedy is common sense laughing. And maybe I'd even replace common sense with truth in my own version. Rules for sacrificing firstborn males. Oh, man. What a chapter. All the firstling males. Oh, always how you want to start a sentence. That come to thy herd of thy flock shall sanctify unto the Lord Bob thy goddess. Thou shalt do no work, none at all. If I see you working, I'm going to zap you. With the firstling of thy Sandra Bullock. Oh, it's been a while since we've had a good Sandra Bullock.
Has been a while, yeah.
She was fantastic in The Lost City. That's the last movie I've seen with her in. Just was out. Pretty funny. They must have picked a very fantastic Bullock from the field.
Without blemish.
Nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Never shear the firstling of thy sheep. Okay, gotcha. Thou shalt eat it. Just eat it. Got Weird Al in the back of my head. They are making a Weird Al movie, a biop, and it's starring Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh boy.
So if you like Weird Al or Daniel Radcliffe, you should go check out the trailer.
Weird Al, is he helping produce it? Is he involved in it?
Imagine that it has to have his approval. And you know why I know it has his approval? And I can say that pretty objectively, besides all the legalistic issues. I know that Weird Al will not do a song unless he has permission from the author. He didn't do, I think it is, was it Eat It? Or he didn't do one of the songs because Prince was a vegetarian. And so he didn't do one of his things. But almost universally, he gets approval. So I imagine they did the same for him. Yeah, Secularity saying Weird Al is actively part of filming. I'm very excited. I know I feel the exact same way. And the trailer was good. It was funny. So my favorite is the spit scene. If you watch that, just seeing and Daniel Radcliffe is still jacked, which probably isn't Al. Yet he actually looks like a pretty good Al. So I am really looking forward to that. He's been promoting it on social media. All right, and another thing that is coming out. Speaking of promoting, I am in the process of creating a series called Creative and Comical, which will be hopefully a bunch of how-to videos and other looks at media and writing, how to do it, how to make podcasts, how to work in post-production, how to set up pre-production, very important. And one of them I'm actually doing is why, or maybe what you could learn from Avatar, which I think is actually a spicy concept, because a lot of people will say that it's just Dancing with Wolves, which Rachel was saying she's a fantastic movie. So that's really not that much of a shit on. But not only is it not that, because it may share the same themes, but James Cameron, he just does everything right in storytelling. and he's able to match certain beats. A very important concept I want to talk about in there is just concepts like saving the cat, which is within the first chapter of your story, your movie, your book. You need to do something that shows, that hooks why you're going to root for the character. So the fact that he was a paraplegic, that seemed to be a guy, he was an underdog. There was all this little things that made you root for Jack Sully. So I want to go into that. I really, and he follows mythic structure very well. And so, yeah.
It's also same thing. Like if you're like if you've got a character you need to rehabilitate who was more of an antagonist in earlier in the story, you've got to have him do something nice or help somebody, or
he goes
redemption.
He goes on a hero's journey arc. He starts out where he is the aggressor, or at least part of the aggressor team. He gets offered a job to mine unobtainium, and I was just joking with James pre-show that I working on a story. I have my own. It's called Obtainium. Much better than unobtainium. It's more obtainable.
Much better.
It's more obtainable. I shouldn't say it's better. It's just easier to obtain. It's more obtainable. But they're going after unobtainium. And so another important tip I would share. He said all of his stories his worlds fall into place the moment that he builds an economy and a currency. Things start to make, because a lot of it's motivated for them to go mining. Another important thing, he said that sending messages with a story are not very popular in Hollywood. So it's hard to get past executives this big, like trying to save the rainforest, whatever you want to call it. That kind of environmental is not always a big sell. And so you have to use universal themes to get that on board. But that's why it is the #1 movie still, and why I think that people underestimate James Cameron. Why am I talking about this? Not just because of creative and comical, but because possibly today, possibly right now, I'm not even sure, the Avatar 2 trailer will be hitting both the Doctor Strange premiere and what I assume will be the YouTubes.
Hey.
So check it out.
Stay
if
tuned.
Not today, in the coming week. Don't bet against James Cameron. In fact, to quote South Park, James Cameron does not do what James Cameron does for James Cameron. James Cameron does what James Cameron does because James Cameron is James Cameron. And with that, we're going to wrap up this chapter. James, you were so right. No blemishes. None of those blemishes.
It's just rehashing a lot of the same shit from previous chapters.
Look, I can't help it. I'm looking at chat, sending so much love out there. Thou shalt eat it. Oh, there we go. There's where the tangent started. I got myself back there. Thy God year, by year, in the place which the Lord Bob, this beautiful lass, shall choose, thou and thy household. It'll be like a Sims game. And let me tell you, if there be even like a single blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind,
just a mark in between the toes, maybe nobody will notice. Maybe the sheep is stepped on a pebble or something.
Yeah, exactly.
The hoof.
Thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Lord God. It's just so funny. Like, literally, if there's a mark on your cow, the God will not find it accepting. How petty of a God is this? That's right. No blemishes on your Sandra Bullock. In
He's a
fact,
bit.
that glass, every pearl should be shimmering on her dress, okay? Don't want a single blemish. Her earrings should be, and makeup should be immaculate. So no blemishes. Thou shalt eat by the gates. Don't go over the gate, because then you get crumbs everywhere. And unclean as the clean person shall just eat it. It'll like as the roebuck. That's how much a buck costs to Joe Rogan. And as the heart.
Oh,
the
Heart.
Kevin Hart. Yes.
I hate that band. I hate Heart.
Only thou shalt not eat the blood. Okay.
Once
Thereof.
again, this obsession with meat being completely dry.
Which is a weird thing. Once again, thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water. Okay, what did we just read? Sacrifice to God all your firstborn males from your herd and flock, ladies and gentlemen. Science. Fucking science right here. And don't do any work with a firstborn bullock or shear a firstborn sheep. Cool. And also, what the other thing I was thinking about when I was like looking over these chapters beforehand, like I know that the Jews and Christians get a little pissy when we're like, this is the goat herder's guide to the galaxy. Like these people were actual sheep herders. But I mean, if you need to spend this much time on rules about sheep, I'm just saying, this might not be a scientific textbook. Unless you're talking about sheep anatomy and it's in a veterinarian class, I get the feeling you're not talking science. But yeah. All right. Yeah.
Sheep anatomy.
Eat your firstborn males in front of God in a place where he tells you. Don't sacrifice to God any blind, lame, or blemished animals. Both clean and unclean people may eat these animals. Kind of a weird thing to say, but whatever. But don't drink their blood. Pour it out like water.
Gotcha.
Nightshade. Woohoo. Sending love. Go check out Shane Bilowitz's channel. And also, imagine slaughtering a cow of Yahweh that had a bad haircut. Yeah, had a bad haircut and just gots to go. You know, had a little mark on their hoof. So, I can't sacrifice. You can't, cut their neck open and give them to God. You also know it's science when you're pouring their blood over the
well, you have to spray it around the altar. Back in Exodus, but around the altar, you've got to make sure you spray the blood the right way, so in reverence to God for His eternal glory.
That's also how you know, once again, that we're talking about science, is when you're spreading blood over an altar.
Of course, for His glory.
For His glory. Yes, His glory hole. Lots of glory holes. And all right, we are moving on to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16. 3 feasts. Abib. Put a bib on. Weeks. Wow, what? Is that the name of the tribe? We have weeks to do it. No. We're meeting weeks, the tribe. And tabernacles. Oh, boy. Our portable tents are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Just when you thought you heard the last about the tabernacle, no.
What is a tabernacle? It's a portable tent that they use for holy business that you build in the desert. Congratulations. We're doing good.
It's flammable, but we have lit torches all around it. It's fun.
And all right, there are 3 categories. We have... Oh my. Wait a second. I've never even seen this before. Hold on a second.
Hmm.
James, I think there's a contradiction in the Bible. can't be true.
I
Huh.
don't know. Praise is running a stream, so
That's right. I saw a Bible study on their channel earlier with the ladies.
so I don't know.
Sending a love to them.
He would
but,
say no.
no, of course not. But of course, the Bible's also known for its humor. You know, you always have a good amount of laughs when we're reading the Bible. It's
Do
not
you?
as dry as Ben Shapiro's wife. Sending love. What? I wouldn't make that joke. Speaking of which, the Bible loves to show how feminine or into feminism it is, as we're about to find out with gender equality. In our last chapter, the second half, back half, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, 3 feasts, Abib, weeks, and tabernacles. Observe the month of Abib. Yo, where is Mr. Dude's where's the calendar argument? Where's Terry? Isn't that they had a month called Abib? And keep the Passover, because once again, spread some blood of science onto the Lord Bob thy goddess, this beautiful lass. For in the month of Abib, the Lord Bob, thy goddess, brought thee forth out of New York, and I can put you back in it by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy goddess of the flock and the herd. It's kind of the word. In the place which the Lord Bob shall choose to place his name there. He likes putting his name everywhere. He kind of pisses
Carves
all over the place.
into people's dead bodies. His initials there, like Yahweh did this.
Yahweh was
Yahweh
here.
was here. Yeah.
What is up, Pat? Woo!
Hey, Pat.
Sending so much love. Well, we're having so much fun. The Bible gave us lots of words of wisdom. It started out very gently. It told us simply to give to the poor. I mean, who doesn't love giving to the poor? And then it gave us rules for slavery and how to sacrifice firstborn animals. But hey, I mean,
Objectively moral, and it's good. It's good.
we gave to the poor and shit, so that's cool. But yes, he took you out of Egypt. He could put you back in it. Thanks, Dad. You can turn the spiritual minivan around at any time. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover. I don't know what that means. Unto the Lord God. Okay, we just said that into his name. Thou shalt eat. No. If I see you eating leavened bread that rises, you're going to get cut. With it, 7 days shall thou eat unleavened bread. Shove that matzah up somewhere, there within. Even the bread of affliction, which sounds like an RPG term. Oh no, all I wanted was bread, but I'm only getting
like
bread of affliction.
What is that, like a S&M theme?
Yeah, that might be. For thou camest with permission forth out of the land of New York in haste. Because I got you in there and then I kicked you out and got you out. And then he was like, get out of here or I will chase you. And then you hardened his heart. And so he chased them.
And then Amy hardened something else.
Oh boy, do I. That thou mayest remember the day when thou camest with permission forth out of the land of New York all the days of thy life. Okay, what? Moses continues his instructions to the Israelites saying, observe the month of Abib, my favorite month, and keep the Passover. It is, it's the best. Eat unleavened bread for 7 days. Cool. Okay. Thanks. Okay. and there shall be no leavened bread seen. If I even see leavened bread within thy coast for 7 days, I'm going to smack a bitch. Neither shall there be anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificedest the first day at the even. Remain all night until the morning.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover with any of thine gates, which the Lord, Bob Gates, which the Lord thy, Bob, given thee.
Go Gates.
But at the place which the Lord Bob thy goddess shall choose to place his name in, because he kind of, like James said, he carves it everywhere. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even. Even at the going down of the sun.
Oh, wow.
Trying to, I have the tempo in my head. Black Hawk, sun, won't you come wash away the rain?
Oh, copyright.
No, I'm good. You can get away with a good, I would say, 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I love. That's the only gods I believe in are YouTube ones.
Algorithmic gods.
The algorithmic gods. Given thee, but the place which the Lord. Okay, he's choosing a Pokemon. Choose his name, and thou shalt sacrifice. And it was Black Heart Sun. Black Heart Sun. Here we go. And thou shalt roast and toast. You want your sandwich toasted? Okay, fine. And eat it. There we go. A matzah sandwich. That's kind of interesting. Like I would try it.
Just to
like
to
okay,
it.
like if it was a matzah sandwich with turkey, bacon, and mustard, I would do it. But
it'd be like those Lunchables, like the crackers and cheese. Like
yeah, it would basically just be a flatbread sandwich.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm not complaining that the bread is dull. It's just that if that's all you're eating, then man, oh man, good luck with that. There's places where you just eat bread and water. They're not fun places. Which the Lord Bob thy God shall choose, like a Pokemon, and thou shalt turn in the morning, and you'll be walking the walk of shame, and go on to thy tents. Your boo, yeah. Something.
What did the Navy just they retained the bread and water diet as a sanction up until like 2 years ago.
Really?
They got rid of it. Was the captain of a ship could order you confined for up to 3 days on just bread and water.
Hey, the things you do when you're surviving out at sea. But if you're coming from God, I'd be questioning things.
Yeah, they don't let them do that anymore. I guess they felt it was too archaic.
So 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened day, and on the 7th day, it's like a Weight Watchers program, shall be solemnly assembled to the Lord Bob, thy goddess. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shall thou number unto thee. How many weeks? That's a lot of. We're really fasting. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such times as thou begins to put the sickle to the corn.
What about the ham? What about the hammer?
Hammer. I would like a ham sandwich. Eat unleavened bread for 6 days. Cool. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks. Jeez, we don't have a feast of weeks.
I don't think it's a feast in our terms.
I'm also looking for the month of Abib.
Yeah, it's a fun month.
Unto the Lord thy God, with a tribute of free will. Wait, with a tribute of a free will offering, which sounds like an oxymoron. Of thine hand, if you get what I'm saying. which thou shalt give unto thee thy Lord Bob, this lovely lass, thy goddess, according as the Lord thy goddess hath blessed thee. Oh, bless me all over.
It's so funny, like, make a free will offering, or else.
Or else.
How you like that free will? Do it, or else.
Ooh. And thou shalt rejoice. Oh, won't you rejoice before the Lord Bob, thy goddess, thou and thy daughter and thy son and thy woman servant and thy man servant and thy Levi's jeans, that is with thy gates, and the stranger danger and the fatherless and the black widow, and are among you in the place which thy Lord thy God hath chosen to place her name there. Rejoice in front of God with your children and slaves.
Like, rejoice in God that you have to eat these crackers for 6 days.
Also, I love the notion of it's like you and your slaves rejoice. It's like, we're going to rejoice. Don't you guys want to rejoice? Come on. Rejoice.
Yeah, that's like
Come on.
like kind of an element of religion. Like, once they had the master and slave, like, inside the church are almost equal. Then once they leave the church, they go back to the master being the master and the slave being. But under Christ, they're all
the
equal.
same. But in the physical world, you better buck back.
In reality, yeah. Well, that is the one thing that they would always say. Oh, they had Sunday off because they couldn't make them work on the Sabbath. You know, that was an apologetic. That was an apologetic I got when I asked about God ordering the guy picking up sticks on the Sabbath to be put to death. The apologetic I got was, well, James, if God didn't do that, then all those slaves, all those years, I mean, look, they had to work their ass off 6 days a week, but they did get the Sabbath off. But, you know, God had to.
They work 6 days a week, but they did get a single day off.
They got a day off. I mean, it's better than 0 days off. So, I mean, be thankful for what you get, right? But that's why God had to kill the guy with the sticks. Otherwise, he couldn't just tell people, give your workers a day off. No, he had to kill somebody.
Couldn't have given him a warning? Maybe a ticket?
Maybe explain, like,
scolding?
Oh, yeah, the deity who gives people a stern talking to.
But yes, if you've just joined us, we are reading the King James Bible.
The Word of the Living God.
The Word of God. We're reading the Skeptic Annotated Notes at the side, as well as the King James Version on the left. And we are in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16. We're once again including slavery, because why not? And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondwoman in New York. Oh my God, we get it. And thou shalt observe and do these statutes. In fact, if you don't, they will see you, and they are an evil Doctor Who villain. They try and eat you if you don't stare at them. But yes, remember you were a slave in Egypt. Picky, I might have put you in there.
Remember, you remind us every 5 minutes.
Exactly. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles, something I just created, 7 days after thou hast gathered in thy corn, the band, and thy wine. Get Noah onto that.
The box wine, or
good old box wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy daughter, and thy son, and thy woman servant, and thy man servant, and thy Levi's jeans, the stranger danger, and the fatherless, and the black widow that are in with thy gates. 7 days.
Everybody's equal there under the Lord.
Everyone's equal.
Everyone's equal.
Everybody.
Inside the tabernacle. Once they leave, that's it.
Then they're screwed. 7 days shall keep a solemn feast unto the Lord Bob, this lovely lass.
How solemn?
Thy goddess. Oh, super solemn. In the place which the Lord Bob shall choose, because the Lord Bob, thy goddess, shall bless thee up and down, if you're a good boy or girl, in all thine increase and in all thy works and in thine hands, if you get what I mean. Shake weights. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. Three times in a year, oh baby do we, shall all thy females appear before the Lord thy God in the place where she shall choose, in the feast of the unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, a thing I just created, and in the feast of the tabernacles, another thing. I don't even see Jews do this stuff anymore. What the hell?
They don't have a temple. They don't have to do any.
Oh, I guess not. Yeah. And they shall not appear before the Lord Bob empty-handed.
Oh, they won't be empty.
Oh, no,
Maybe
we
we'll fill 'em up.
won't. Don't worry. There are nations around us. We can find some shit.
Fill them up, Amy.
Fill them up. Fill me up with pleasure, Daddy. But yes, what did he just say? Observe the Feast of Tabernacle for 7
Or
days.
else.
Rejoice in the feast with your children and slaves. Yeah, or else.
Or else.
All the males must appear before God 3 times each year. James, you remember how you said a broken clock is right twice a day?
We usually only get one, but this is a rare.
Twice.
It's like a double whopper.
A double whopper, exactly. And look, we are here for it. We're being fair. We want to show when it's bad, when it's good, and when it's a little bit weird. But yes, judges and officers with just a single category.
Hey.
Just good. All right, judges and officers. Judges and officers. Let's get Senator Cato right. Shall thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord Bob thy goddess giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, like you're doing in a WWE match and hitting someone with a chair. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift or gift off blind thy eyes of the wise and the pervert of the words of the righteous. They love that word, righteous. I have a reinterpreted view of righteousness, where you're doing good to others, doing the right thing, even without a God. You're being righteous.
Yes.
That which is altogether just shall thou follow, that thou mayest, okay, we'll do it live, and inherit the land, which the Lord Bob, thy goddess, this lovely lass, giveth thee. Oh my. And all right, before we end on this last note,
That's almost
woo-hoo!
over.
Exactly.
You made it.
We made it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
Thanks, guys. You made it with us. We couldn't
So
have made
much-
it without you guys.
wisdom. And James, I don't even know how have we even been going this far in life without reading these chapters? I mean,
Obviously,
I don't know.
things would have gone very different if we just would have read these chapters. We'd be much better. We might have jobs and we might not have dropped out of high school
Yeah.
as we're
That's true.
told that we've never had a job and we've never
Never had any form of education.
no
Not even high
education
school.
whatsoever. Not even high school.
That's
no,
right.
no. High school
And look,
dropouts.
To be like I said,
No
I always
projection
feel
there,
bad
huh?
when we take pot shots at theists that we've been doing numerous times tonight. But man, sometimes you just gotta tease a little fun
Yeah.
roasting and toasting because of some of these are. We really do love all our theist brothers and sisters out there. We just, as Talk Heathen would say, we don't hate you. We just think you're wrong. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to think that this is less of a science textbook than the Christians will have me think. So,
Yeah,
something's not starting to add up here.
Yeah, Rhea Perlman. Freak.
And hey, Vertus, welcome. First of all, we want to shout out everyone who even joins the channel. Welcome. Says I don't blame people for trying to interpret translations of the Bible as literal and not allegorical. I feel like I have 2 points to that, which is we don't really want you to take this literally. Like the worst version of fundamentalism, like it's like a double-edged sword. In our view, we think that you have to to be a decent person, you kind of have to detach yourself from a lot of these literal views, or else you are stoning gays to death. Like, so we are sending love out there. We love our metaphorical theist. And we love anyone who isn't interpreting, thousands of year old text and then trying to force it on others. But yeah, we're about to actually, if you are enjoying chat, if you're munching on food or doing work and you can't come to talk to us, then keep on having a good time. But anyone, atheist, theist, or otherwise, we're about to finish up the chapter, and then
we're done.
Moving on to either an open mic, and if no one joins us, then we'll just be having the after show on Discord. So, sending that love, it is pinned in there, and we're going to just wrap up on grooves and images with just one category. One just little sweet little nom from Bob Larson himself. Just more laughter.
More emojis.
More
Devil
emojis.
hates it. He hates it.
Hates it. Which is just another funny concept. Can you imagine if emojis harm demons? I don't even think he believes that. Like, I swear, that must be like a marketing department ploy.
He wants people to buy memberships. It's not that hard to figure out. He doesn't think that, if he even believes demons are real, I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. But yes.
Even if he believes they're real, he definitely does not think that the emojis are...
Exactly. There's no way.
he sells it, but yeah.
No matter what your views are on Joe Rogan, he is an atheist. And so I will just quote, if you want to know the difference between a religion and a cult, well, in a cult, the leader knows that he's full of shite. In the religion, that guy's dead. But yeah, we're going to finish up Grooves and Images. Praise be Jesus. Just a little morsel of laughter. Thou shalt not plant thee a groove of any. If I see any trees near unto the altar, well, of the Lord thy goddess which thou shalt make thee, neither shalt thou set up any image which the Lord Bob thy goddess hateth. Okay, she's kind of into interior decorating. I get it. So am I. And so anything that offends them, go on.
Well, this passage here gives new meaning to the term. Look at the trees. No, don't look at the trees. Get the fucking trees out of here. No trees.
Right. And
no trees. I don't want to see a single tree by my altar.
If I see a single tree, I will just bitch. Apparently kill them. Don't plant grooves or trees near an altar and set up any images of God.
I mean,
and so
remember that fig tree that Jesus killed?
Before we go into the open mic, I'm actually going to do this very quickly. So if you just joined us, or if you want our wrap up, that's right, we did read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, the sabbatical year, lend money to the poor, rules for slave owners, rules for sacrificing firstborn males, 3 feast, Ahab, weeks, and tabernacles, and judges and officers, grooves and images. Oh my. What a chapter filled with wisdom.
Oh. coming out like a fire hose.
And funny enough, of all of this, the only thing that really gets quoted is that all.
That's the most memorable part of it. That damn all ceremony, ear piercing, Bible style.
But the Bible doesn't, condone slavery. Of course, the Confederates and kind of quoted the Bible in their Constitution, but picky.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the other side quoted it too. That's the thing with the Bible; it's so malleable. You can find something in there that supports just about anything.
Yeah. You can basically, it's the big random book of multiple choice.
Damn right.
And all right, James and myself will do some conversing
Comedy.
about the chapters and theology and topics and stuff, and say hi to everybody. But really, now is the time if you would like to come join us on the live streams.
That would be a lot of fun to freak. I bet you would have a lot of fun going out there with Pat.
That does sound like a lot of fun. Need to go.
Depriving the local pubs of all their beer.
Curtis says, if you understood the Bible, I like to think we are doing our best to, you would understand that people can and will do evil in the name of anything they believe to be righteous. Oh, I agree. In fact,
Yeah, they will.
there's a very well-known paraphrased quote that is, look, good people doing good, normal. Bad people doing bad, normal. But you want good people to do bad? Religion. Well, see, I would challenge you on that, Virtus. I see that you're saying that that we wouldn't be anti-slavery. I think I can only guess, but there were abolitionists at the time. There have been abolitionists, I think, as long as it's been a topic. And
I mean, you can speculate, but that's all it is. But we're not living in the past. We're living today, and we can only make judgments based on what we know today. If you want to say maybe we wouldn't have known that in the past, maybe not.
And not only that, but the claim is that it's objective, that these are things that will last and stand the test of time. And it doesn't.
Because if it was objectively moral back then, it should be objectively moral today. And there are Christians who make that case that no, it's good, and we are worse off that we abolish slavery. Maybe they don't like antebellum slavery, but maybe they would like to bring back a modified form of it to more conform to the Bible, but they're not opposed to all slavery.
And the Bible condones it. Like, they take a position on slavery. It is a pro-slavery book. They have types of slavery. I know that Christians, when they first hear these, they would call talking points, it must sound like, you just don't understand the context. And yet, I swear that we are the ones trying to put the context in there. The context that was that at the time, it was a human construct, a horrible one. And because there was no God to actually sort things out, he just said, go with the times. Why would we do any different?
And that's the key, is that the objective morality we get just happens to coincide perfectly with what would have seemed moral to Bronze Age man.
Yep.
Why would that be the pinnacle of morality? And like, look, I'm a moral relativist. I don't believe in objective morality, but I think that I'm not making the claim that the Bible's objectively moral. That's the claim the other side makes. But if we can show that it's not objectively moral, then we can show that it's not from a deity, that it's just the work of man, fallible man, just trying to figure out how to live on this earth without dying. And 1,000 years from now, I'm sure there will be aspects of our culture that they will find immoral. And
Well, there are things I believe that aren't going to stand the test of time. I'm not a vegetarian. I think vegetarianism will stand the test of time as a more moral position, and I think that's the way it's trending. Whether it is uh, any progress is progress. So even if it's a 1%, you're going to get there.
well, yeah.
And I'm making that prediction on the way that we just are starting to understand consciousness. I would say that it may take years, and it may even take the market switching. I don't think people will do it out of the goodness of their hearts. I think it'll be a population shift. It'll be a market shift. It'll be many reasons.
Well,
It'll
yeah.
may even have. It may be that once there is lab grown meat, that it becomes an evil thing to even use, biologically grown, sex born meat and all this type of stuff.
Well, that's the thing, is that it is very easy for us to look back now and see that slavery was
Hindsight.
evil. Because for one, it's not part of our culture and it's not part of our economy. We were born into a society where it wasn't a thing. So it seems very easy for us to see how immoral it is. And like Amy was saying, it'll be when people don't need to eat meat anymore that people will be able to see it for. We know like the evils of factory farming, the cruelty and the problems with it, but it's just not conducive. It's just not possible for everybody right now to switch to a vegan diet. But when it is possible, they'll look back on it. It'll be very easy for them to see how immoral it was.
Well, exactly. Once the pressures are overwhelming, once most of the people aren't doing it or even don't have access to it, the rich are the only people that can afford cows that are
Like,
that were grown with sex and all that. So, and I think that is something that, like, slavery, in my opinion, was always wrong. At least from my view of morality, it was wrong even back then. It was just justifiable because it was a tougher land and things were going on that you couldn't really fight against. It's like you were a woman fighting for women's rights. It was much harder. So it has been progress it's been slow and gradual, but
society developed and evolved, and well, you got a problem. Like, what do you do with people with the underclass, people who don't have jobs? And not that it's a good answer to enslave
so
them,
cranky. Well, you're saying, and I mean, Vertus, I would agree with you. James and I are similar, maybe a little bit different, nuanced on it, but like because I think it is 99% objectively immoral to own a slave. There could be that 1% where it's like, oh my God, if I don't keep this person a slave, the saw killer who is behind me is going to pull the trigger. And so I'm actually keeping them alive and they don't even know it. Okay, fine. But like in 99% of cases, it's going to be wrong. But I would also say, because of that, the Bible got it wrong. They took a position on slavery and they were wrong.
It didn't stand the test of time.
It did not stand the test of time. And it actually became the exact opposite. We had to have a very civil war, which I find a funny terminology in and of itself. I get what it means etymology-wise, but And send in love. We'll stay on about 10 more minutes. I think a good
Yeah.
to wait for any more open mic. And then if not, we're just going to head to the after show on Discord. Oh, we got James. James Wolfe is coming by, which means I'll at least add 20 minutes just to the clock so we could start an open
We'll see
discourse.
how much he has to say.
That's right. We're going to have fun. We are going to be going into the open mic. I'm trying to think. I don't think we've done so much house cleaning. I don't know if I got anything else, right?
Yeah.
Let's
We can
bring
always do a
on
wrap up at the end.
the open mic. Exactly. We have been Skeptic Bible studying on Deuteronomy chapters 15 and 16. That's right. The good, the bad, and unleavened bread. We are moving into...
Good, the bad, and the unleavened.
That's right. We are moving into our open mic. Woohoo! What is up, James? I hope you are doing fantastic tonight. We have been Skeptic Bible studying on Deuteronomy. I hope you are not only doing well, but what are your thoughts about the chapters or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Yeah, thanks for letting me on. I wasn't. I don't mean to hold you guys up from going to bed or whatever.
Oh,
no, you're fine.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's
no,
early
really,
for us.
I wanted to share about just the apologetic that I guess that I internally utilized for these verses when I was a Christian, for these chapters, and I guess it's not an unoriginal one. It's sort of one that's, it's everything's by contrast to other Near East cultures. So you can look at these histories, these practices as a kind of a contrast in a positive sense to other Near East cultures, and just to see how enlightened the Israelites were. So that's how I kind of
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Amy's back. The apologetic I always used was, or how I would have justified it when I was a Christian, I would have said that, well, for what it was necessary back then, but it's not necessary today, so we don't need to utilize it anymore. But for some reason, it was important back then. It was a part of the society.
Yeah, well, I could never get past it in my own mind. I could never sort of accept that this was necessary in a practical sense, that God actually ordered people to kill their, to sacrifice. That this was, something that, that was something that I could never get past internally. So I kind of rationalize it to say, well, it was through God's, through God's influence that they were able to develop more enlightened practices than their neighbors. I mean, I guess in the same way you can rationalize the sacrifice of Isaac.
Yeah.
Or the perspective of Isaac, by saying, oh, well, this was symbolic of the doing away of infanticide. You can sort of rationalize it that way. But, yeah.
They'll say that God had to train Israel, like he had to slowly show them how to build the society, and he couldn't just take them from a completely ungodly people instantly, but he had to work on it. So he had to make slavery a little more palatable, but phase it out, I guess, so to say.
Yeah. It's funny. I think something that you mentioned a short time ago, you never hear sermons on this. You never hear words on these chapters, do you? Or very rarely.
They're not the most exciting, well-read, quoted parts of Scripture.
Yeah, exactly right. No, but yeah, that's that. I guess there was a book that I read that sort of helped me develop a sort of internal apologetic. Well, even though not everything within it clicked within me. Have you heard of a book called "Is God a Moral Monster"?
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, no, I think it is a common one for sort of post-rationalizing.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. So I think Anyway, I think Dr. Josh might have referred to it sometimes when he's in his in his lectures or whatever, when he shares about it. But that's the only way I can that I could make any sense of it, is sort of, oh well, it's a historical record just reflecting how enlightened these people were compared to their neighbors, and I know that's
Yeah, very enlightened. They took swords and they're like, hey, there's nations around me. And God's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you went and took some slaves?
Yeah, you got it.
But thank you,
Yeah,
James.
thanks, James.
No worries. No, thanks, guys. Thanks. I really enjoyed it today. Awesome work.
The thing that, like for me, like the moral argument, that really never really gave me a whole lot of issues when I was really, those arguments really never bothered me. So I mean, I think they're more useful to atheists at keeping atheists away from religion than they are at bringing Christians out of religion. I think they have so many different tools at their disposal to kind of absolve God of any guilt for anything, and we get those apologetics pretty much all the time.
Yep.
But God's bigger and so much smarter than we are, and he does things, his ways are different than our ways, and we just can't understand his wisdom and his mind, and he's got a plan. Everything's going to be worked out in the end. Don't worry, when we get to heaven, every tear will be dried, and every wrong will be made right. And it's it works for him, I guess.
Yeah, I used to say, like, the term God works in mysterious ways. Even when I was a Christian, I could never stand that saying. But I kind of amended. I said that God works in incomprehensible ways. But I guess that's a distinction without a difference, anyway. So. And
Veritas says, if the concept of religion never existed, people would simply find something else to fill the void. Atheism is the most illogical belief one could have, and I just have to say, I don't see why that's the case, because why would withholding belief on something you don't have a good reason to believe be illogical? We're not taking a position necessarily on the hardest questions that humankind can ask. We just don't have good reason to think you guys have the right answer to them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that goes into a completely different area of philosophy and everything, But oh gosh, but these chapters, everyone around me, I remember in ministry, they used to always sort of encourage me to say that this was, that it's not as symbolic as I was suggesting. That there really was an actual. There was a spiritual purpose to sacrifice and partaking and all these sort of arcane practices. And I guess if you want to be hyper generous or hyper charitable, you can say it's sort of, it's kind of like a delay of gratification. You learn the value of delaying gratification, that you don't engage in the most in the most beneficial thing straight away, I suppose. I don't know, that's probably a poor way of phrasing it. But there's benefit in delaying gratification and giving out what you're giving out, and sacrificing what you see as beneficial for a greater good later on.
There are times when that is helpful. Yeah.
But sorry, go on.
He's in there in chat conflating the term agnostic and atheist.
Well, yeah, and I wanted to just point out the difference that agnostic is an atheist. That is correct. The difference is between knowledge and belief. So you would have theism and atheism. You would have Gnosticism and agnosticism. And it is an important distinction. Because I think that knowledge is a subset of belief. You have your beliefs. Some of those beliefs are justified true beliefs. And so I would say most of the community you'll find here are agnostic atheists. That is to say, we do not believe in a God, but most of us, I think, would say that we don't know. That's really what we are saying is you can't have 100% certainty of everything, but we're
Right.
convinced there isn't.
So there are hard atheists who definitely say there is no God, but I think most of atheists would say, and they like to call it lack theism, but we just don't hold a belief in a God.
But they only say that because they want more hard atheists. To
because
the
then we're making a
theist,
claim that has
yes,
to be defended. Yeah.
I kind of like that in that I call myself a medium atheist because I think there are gods you can prove that do not exist. I think the Abrahamic God can easily be shown to not exist. Especially the omnis. I don't know if the omni God even exists in the Bible. I think that's more an interpretation and then a public relations campaign.
It's cobbled together by looking at various scriptures, and then you have to assume they're all true, and then come up with a doctrine that makes
But he
it all
doesn't
work
act
together.
like a God who knows what's going on at all times. He doesn't act like a God who can predict the future. Like people subvert him all the time.
Because he evolves as we go through the Bible. He becomes more omnipotent as we even in the New Testament, Jesus evolves through the Gospels, where the claims about him and his miracles become more and more grandiose as the time goes on. But there are some people who label themselves only as an agnostic. They reject the title of atheist, and I guess they're free to call themselves whatever you want. But I think it's a silly hill to die on. But hey.
And I'm going to give my warning. I always feel bad when it's like the voice chat versus the text chat because it's just general comedian. Yeah, that's why I would like to say we have 10 more minutes. Oh my God, she just opened the door herself. Look at you, little baby girl. Right now we have 2 cats. The cats are multiplying. Okay. She has her chairs that she likes.
God, as if he's just some guy with magic powers. I mean, I don't think I've ever met a theist who would actually say that they could give a very good description of their God, because, of course, they're all going to say we can't even really comprehend him, especially the Christian God, because he's one God, but he's also 3, but at the same time, he's also 1 while being 3 and being 1 and only 3.
And if I could just respond, I think that we know how God acts because we created them. I go a step. This is what I talk about my medium atheism. I think it could be that we were contingent on gods to exist, as in like we needed God to exist. Or it could be that gods are our anthropomorphic creations, as in like we didn't know why thunder exists, and so we were like Thor, and we didn't know how universes were created, so we were like Yahweh.
In the beginning, God just poofed everything into existence.
Yes. And so I think that we could easily see how people like the maximally powerful, these maximally
good, loving,
good, all these things.
Just.
And they like this. These gods actually show in many times the opposite quality. If Yahweh is maximally powerful and maximally good,
maximally jealous,
then he sucks at it. Like he's not good at being powerful. He's not good at being good. It would depend on your God. If it's a deistic God, then
doesn't
it's
actually
like
do anything that we can tangibly observe in the universe. I mean.
And see, that's the other thing. If it has a consciousness at all, I have so many questions. Like welcome, by the way. Truly sending love to you, Virtus. Loving the back and forth. We didn't know radio waves existed until less than 200 years ago. Nobody could see it. Nobody could touch it. Okay. So I mean, we lost.
Goodbye,
Wolfe,
James.
sending love to James.
If you want to come back on,
Woo!
come back on. But
That's
we're going
right.
to close out in a
And,
few minutes. But thanks for coming on, man. Great
we
to see
have a little bit under 10 minutes still, but
right.
we'll
And Ant thinks, yeah, right. Ant logic, yeah, they can't comprehend us, which is why when we're told that we will never understand the Big Bang or the origin of the universe because that's just too complicated for us. I think,
but that's not a fair. That's not a fair analogy because ants can comprehend us. I guarantee you that ants can comprehend us. That ants are a social species. They are most definitely conscious. I would assert they're sentient, that they can use their memory and emotions to solve problems that would pass like a Pavlov's dog.
They work together.
They work together, have empathy for other ants.
If you think about it, they don't have community, but they somehow coordinate the building of their mounds, and it's just not just a massive cluster F.
And imagine if gods were walking around us. Like we had to get out of the way to make sure that gods didn't squish us. Like how much more empirical proof would you want? I mean, that's what we want.
But an ant, although they are not nowhere near being able to comprehend things like particle physics, so us trying to understand the origin of the universe or the Big Bang, we're kind of at that stage where we have a lot more to learn before we even approach that. But I do think one day we will be able to figure that stuff out.
And I would also say, because James has seen me try and promote this. It is the "we gone to the moon" fallacy.
Or the rabbi who anthropomorphized the sun. Oh, the sun can't dance or listen to music.
And what I would also challenge: can God write a sonnet? Can God paint a picture, write a poem? Can God pet a kitty? You okay, baby girl?
No, they'll say yes, but can you provide any tangible evidence of that?
Yeah, well, the things that make a human special, God doesn't seem to have at all. That's the other funny thing. Oh, he set his phone down.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, though.
Exactly.
Appreciate you. And the support.
Woo-hoo. It's okay, baby girl. Get that hairball out.
And what you need to understand is, like, the things we do, like writing poetry and stuff, I mean, it's wonderful and it's part of what makes being a human so amazing. But in terms of evolution is just trying to keep us alive, keep us able to find enough food so we don't die on this planet. And it's nice that we have technology and we've developed so that we don't have to spend all our time scavenging for food. We do have free time to engage in pursuits of leisure and hobbies of enjoyment like writing poetry, but it's not really what evolution's concerned with. Like the dolphin, in some ways, I think their brain is much more efficient at processing certain things than we are. Just evolution gave them fins. They can't build anything with fins, so they're limited in that aspect. But in terms of evolution, they are doing just fine. They are developing as a species. They're able to reproduce, find enough food, and they live on. But the things that we do that we're so impressed with is not really so much what evolution concerned. Yeah, keep us long enough to reproduce. That's what it's primarily concerned with. Yeah, if it can alter the universe on a whim, but we don't have any evidence of that. So far, he's just a hypothetical being. He's a placeholder for things that we don't currently understand about the universe. And each and every day, the gaps in our knowledge are getting just a little bit smaller. The space you have to hide your God in is shrinking by the day, and eventually
You're saying it's cold outside?
you're just not going to have enough gap in our knowledge to hide him in, because we've been slowly but surely eliminating God from all areas of the physical world.
And not to be a broken record on consciousness, but I don't get what a greater consciousness even is. Like, consciousness is amazing. It is wonderful. I would give it a 5 out of 5 Yelp review. And yet, it is our mechanism specifically tied to digestion that really is how we walk and gather energy on the macroscopic landscape. And so I just question why this thing is conscious. What does it get? It almost seems like a plot device, because it's conscious and exists to make us.
Primarily
That is
so.
which is not, our consciousness has no bearing on like the universe existing. And so it's just a very weird space for consciousness to be, when our consciousness is often at Wendy's, literally. And so, like, I'm trying to, but 5 minutes on the clock, and then we're gone.
Well,
So,
I mean, look, there's a lot we don't understand about consciousness. There are certain mysteries that need to be unlocked, but so far there's nothing that we have found to indicate it's anything supernatural or beyond the physical world.
No. So I do not think that our consciousness has a core. Well, I was going to say, how you read that. No. Yes.
Hey, Regis.
No, now I would change that. Or you shouldn't be sure about our consciousness having a correlation to our existence. Our body, I would say, is top level. And then consciousness is one of the mechanisms that our body, from the brain that is the organ, from the operating system that is the mind, produces the program that is consciousness. And it's true. You can be alive without consciousness. Your body can exist. You can be hooked up to machines and not conscious, and you will continue like a plant. You just need food and water. But
trees do just fine without it.
Exactly. Well, and we're a response. I keep on making that claim that baffles creationists, that we are a direct response to trees' existence. Consciousness would not exist. But it shows in just every form of evolution that you have to have some sort of food source, like a plant, grow to even allow things like fungi and conscious organisms, which are what eat the plant. Like there would be nothing to digest without them coming first.
And they have to not be conscious. Yeah. Good night, Robert.
He was Robert. Saying, and I've been trying to go as
copy
full
of your brain,
carrot top as I could. Yes, this may take a little bit of jazz hand time.
How much carrot top can you do? The full carrot top.
Okay, well, I at least know behind me. Hold on. Here we go. I got my close enough. It's my neuron buddy.
He thinks you should dig deeper. I tell you, she's going pretty deep. I'll tell you what.
It's getting sending so much love. We got the Twitch sphere.
Lighten up.
Good real than one mid-made cheese. Not me. Organ is like a piano. It sounds different. Not the same, man. This is why conscious. It's like music. Man. I'm just sending, and yes, fungi eat plants. Yes, we specifically, you can look at fungi and conscious organisms, or as we like to call them, animals, which is another weird thing. People don't, it's the only branch. That is the hallmark. One of them, there's a few, but one of the hallmarks is this consciousness thing, and fungi and animals are closer related because, once again, reaction to plants. And so we walk around, move, take the energy, pick it up, put it in there, and we put it down to here to where our stomach acid breaks it down. Fungi do the direct opposite. They plant themselves on another organism, and what they do is they secrete the equivalent of stomach fluid. They begin to break down the organisms that they are touching and interacting, and they begin to layer. The word escapes me now. They're like gray tendrils, almost like roots. They're very faint like, and begin to make their networks and homes directly on their food sources. It's how fungi operate, and it is although I'm sorry, it's just each one they keep on showing. Hold on, let me get his blanket. He just somewhere to lay down, and then we'll finish out and we'll go.
Tell you what, Gizmo's the F out. He is passed out.
Gizmo's sleeping. Aw. Look, it's a hard time. The producer has to make a lot of graphics.
Sleeping on the job.
He's sleeping on the job. But yes, fungi, plants, direct opposites. So much love, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
Sending love everyone out there. We're about to be wrapping up. And so, we've been having a fun Bible study.
We were off for a few days, but we're back now.
Woohoo! Back and a lot more fun upcoming. What's up, Command Cyborg? Woohoo! We're about to be heading into our wrap up, but then we're just gonna be going to the after show in Discord. So if you guys want to continue having great conversations, we will be heading to the Skeptic and Ranting community Discord server in just a few minutes. See, now it's getting spicy. I can't help it. I'm liking all the thing in chats. I do want to remind everybody how much we actually like views that disagree with her, and you weren't awoke and conscious.
Go to sleep, Veritas.
The way you guys are viewing
we'll be back
the world,
tomorrow.
You can't have memories, experiences, and existent. Oh, he says I need to go sleep. I think we all need to go to sleep in a minute. It's almost going to be 4 a.m. here.
Gizmo got the right idea.
A lot of fun. Yeah, Gizmo. But yeah, consciousness is used as one of those things that I've noticed a lot of theists use against, I would say, naturalists. And I just am, I would say, funny enough, that's my shtick, baby. I can't help it. I'm borderline obsessed.
They love because it's non-tangible. You can't take it, put it in a jar or whatever. It's
complicated, and it's a science that is still being developed. Right. And so when you are doing abiogenesis, when you're doing consciousness, when you're out on the frontiers of still science, it's still going to be harder.
And remember, they're always looking for gaps in our knowledge, things we don't fully understand, as a place to shove their God in. So they gravitate towards consciousness.
Look, we are all for absolutely any type of views. As I hope any of you, the theists on here will tell you, DeFreak, Jamie, hopefully got my back on a lot of these. We want everybody to say their own views, because if our views can't stand the test of a certain, I would say, mound of empirical evidence, then we would have to change our views. Hi, Gizmo. I can't help the fact that looks like a happy face when he's
smile.
It looks like a smile.
Yeah. It's like, I got up for this. Yeah, you got up for this.
and I can't help. We
Oh,
got puppers.
Cooper down there.
Yeah, he's got his blankie because he got hardwood floor for this my study, and we got 2 cats. Where is Penelope? Oh, Penelope's on her board. Penelope is on the board behind. And Moonlight is watching cat TV. I know, Cooper. I couldn't agree more. And speaking of which, I think that's gonna start to bring us to the end. Yeah. I do hope that you all had a fun time on this episode of our Skeptic Bible Study. The good, the bad, and unleavened bread?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Where tonight Moses commanded the Israelites to give to the poor. But also
Save the children.
That's right. Someone, please.
Think of the children.
But they also went over slavery and rules for sacrificing animals.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Protect your nearest bullock, your nearest Sandra. But yeah, however, we did have a wonderful finish on another feast of non-rising bread. I want to thank... Needed that energy boost. I want to thank my co-host James W. along with our guest Wolfe and our awesome mods who make this stream so great. The lovely people in chat and of course viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. Woo-hoo.
Or
sending love out there. Both parties incoming. We hit 1K. The party's coming up on YouTube and then affiliated with Twitch, which means once again, you guys showed us love.
Yes.
We are going to find many, many ways to just send that love back. And so incoming, ladies and gentlemen.
Sending hearts.
Sending hearts. And so
you now have multiple ways to send us money.
Exactly. And get fun perks on a whole different variety. We've hopefully found ways because I really do.
Perks.
Oh my. It's harder if it's cold outside too, because then you have to work for it. But yes, then you get access to sending love to Jamie Russell from $2, sending a super sticker. Dum, dum, dum. I'm trying to see the super sticker. Hold on 1 second.
Never loads on mine.
You also have kitties that are sharpening. Okay, it is a... Oh, and I'm ready for this too. Hold on. It was just here. Let me jazz hands. Yes. Worth it, baby. It was a... Hey, you! Woo! And he's jumping around. The sunglasses. Woo! Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Jamie Russell.
Oh, don't forget that Sabbath, Jamie Russell.
Our theist brothers
all about that Sabbath.
In the skeptic and ranting community. We love having you here. And as I often say, one of the show's hosts is queer. It happens.
Don't be afraid.
Oh my gosh, Gizmo looks so happy. I can't help it. He's like, hi guys. Hi.
Hey guys.
You having a chat? We're all talking?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Now where's my damn cat treats?
I know. Once again, had to bribe and catnip tonight to these two. So you have to get Gizmo to edit a video. There is a specific type of just amazing catnip, high level, expensive, but it's worth it. It really is worth it. All right, sending love to all of
Thank
you
you,
out
Jamie.
there, and ha 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 ha.
Thank you, Defreak.
Hey, once the show's done, why not leave a comment? If you'd like to come join us as well, we are heading to the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server to chat with the community, the link of which is in the description below. Finally, if you would like to help us make even more fun content, we
Even more.
offer even more 2 scoops. We offer unique perks for your support at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Mwah.